Welcome to another episode of Unshakable Habits Live. My name is Stephen Box and I am your host. So today I'm talking about a subject that might be a little bit touchy for some people. You might have something in your life that you're holding on to that is keeping you from moving forward. Let me tell you how I know. When I was 8 years old, I moved from Lawton, Oklahoma to Pensacola, Florida. Now, what you need to know is that before I moved, I was actually a pretty popular kid. I had friends, I was athletic, I was the fast kid on the playground. And as a result, I had friends, everybody liked me. When I moved, I now was the short kid who was new and had the funny accent. You see, back in Oklahoma, everybody talked like me. But in Florida, nobody talked like me. So from day one, I had this big target on my back. And people, well, not people, but bullies in particular, decided that I would make a great punching bag. So I was picked on pretty much every single day up through middle school, and I was picked on and off all the way through high school. When I look back at those circumstances, I look at the days that I would get into fights with people, I look at the verbal abuse, I look at all the days that I honestly didn't even want to go to school because I knew what it was going to be like. And keep in mind, when I was in second grade, I literally threw a fit because I had to stay home with chickenpox. That's how much I loved school when I was in second grade. In third grade, there were days I didn't even want to go to school. Okay. But I remember around middle school was when things started to change a little bit. Like I said, I still got picked on intermittently after that. But I remember in middle school standing up to a couple bullies. And there was a couple of different circumstances. But one in particular was when I discovered that I had the ability to be funny. And when I learned that I could use my voice to hurl insults at my bullies, and I could get them so upset that they would cry, this gave me freedom. It gave me a tool to fight back because I couldn't physically stand up to a lot of these kids. So this gave me a tool to fight back. And it seemed in the moment like this was a good thing. What I didn't realize is, even as an adult, once I was in college, after college, into my career, I still went through life acting as if everyone around me was looking for the opportunity to bully me. And just like I learned to fight those bullies with my quick wit and my voice, I was doing the exact same thing to every person in my life who didn't agree with me, who I felt slighted me in any kind of way. And as a result, it really held me back. I missed out on promotions. I missed out on opportunities. I missed out on relationships. I lost a lot more in my life than I gained by holding on to the anger and the hurt that bullying caused me. Now, this isn't a speech about bullying or me here to tell you about how we need to put an end to bullying or anything like that, right? Because the truth is, when I finally accepted that I was holding on to the anger and I let it go, all that tribulation I went through, it did help me to become a better person. It did help me to grow. Because when we go through things like that, if it doesn't kill us, it does make us stronger. Okay. So I'm not endorsing bullying by any means, but I'm also saying that, you know what? we do have the power to not be victims of our past. We can actually take control of the narrative. And that's what I've done with my life. But in order to take control of that narrative, I had to let go. I had to let go of the hurt. I had to let go of the pain. I had to let go of the frustrations. And it wasn't until I was able to do that I was able to move forward with my life. Okay. So what did moving forward look like to me? Well, it meant finally getting promoted into those positions I wanted. It meant proving that everything I ever said that I could do, that I didn't get the chance to do because of my attitude, the attitude I didn't realize was the problem. I proved that I could do all those things. I proved I could be successful in doing them. When I decided that it was time for me to lose weight and get healthy, I was able to drop 80 pounds. When I decided I was sick of my career and I wanted to do something different, I was able to switch careers and launch a successful business. You see, all those things were only possible because I let go of all that anger, all that hurt that was holding me back. Now, some people you might be familiar, especially a lot of professional athletes, will tell you, well, I got this chip on my shoulder, da 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 da. Okay, this is not a chip on the shoulder kind of speech. I'm not talking about using the fact that other people doubt you to motivate you. I'm talking about letting go of hurt. One of my bullies, I remember, was a guy named Eddie. And I saw Eddie years later. And he came up to me and started acting like nothing had ever happened between us. And when I told Eddie about how I felt, when I let him know all the hurt and the pain he had caused me when we were younger, he actually seemed a bit surprised. You see, I had spent years thinking about Eddie and all the other bullies in my life. And he hadn't spent not one single second thinking about me. My pain wasn't holding Eddie back in life. My hatred wasn't holding Eddie back in life. It was holding me back. So, what about you? Do you have something that you're holding on to? Is there some pain, some past injustice that was done for you? I'm not saying if it was right or wrong. I'm not trying to justify it. Okay? What happened to me is not something I would wish on anybody. And although I did grow from it and I can look back and say that positives came out of it, it's not something I would voluntarily go through ever again. But you know what? Holding on to it is exactly what I would be. That's exactly what I'd be doing it. If I held on to it, I'm just reliving it over and over and over again. I had to let it go. I had to move on, and I had to accept the fact that it was turning me into the very thing I despised. I was becoming an Eddie. And I didn't want that for my life. I don't want it for yours either. So that is my message for y'all today. I will see you back tomorrow with another episode of Unshakable Habits Live. And just remember that you can take your habits from unsustainable to unshakable, even if you have zero willpower.